Today we will be doing something a bit different. I won't be talking about a film, instead I'll be talking about a TV show, because I just recently finished watching all 3 series of Dark, which is a Netflix series, which gives me a good opportunity, I feel, to talk about the series as a whole. And so join me after the intro for my thoughts of what I believe is one of the best TV shows of all time. Hi, my name's Stuart. I don't know if you have Netflix or not, but I feel that Dark is a very good reason to justify getting it, at least just to try it out for a month or so. Now, Dark especially is a series that you could very easily spoil for people, I suppose, if you tell them a bit too much about the plot. And I feel that even if you do talk about the story of what it's actually about, it might just sound crazy at first, because when you start watching the series you can't really see where the story is going to go. So I feel it's better, I'll keep spoilers completely out of this review. I'll talk really just about the basic gist of it. The video clips that I usually show up here in the corner, they will only be from the first episode. So I believe there are 26 in total, so even watching them, nothing will be spoiled, because I feel there's so much to talk about anyway without having to go into the story. Just to give you an overview of the series, it is a German production. I believe it's the first big production that Netflix made in Germany, so all the people involved are from Germany, and as such, as you know, I like to watch things in the original language. Here I also recommend that, so if you are fine with reading subtitles, please do watch in German, or of course if you speak German then definitely do it, because that way you will get more enjoyment out of it. To talk very briefly about the story, the whole thing is set in a fictional German town called Winden, which I'm not even quite sure where they place it, I don't actually know. So the most basic plot I can give you is that one teenager, he goes missing in the woods, in a cave particularly, and the whole town is looking for him. And so this story it starts off as a sort of, I would call it a sort of mystery film, a mystery thriller I suppose, but I don't suppose it's too big of a spoiler. It goes into the sci-fi territory as well, so I would call it a sci-fi mystery thriller. I'm telling you it's sci-fi because if you're the kind of person who just does not like sci-fi, you will probably not enjoy it just for that alone. And that's basically what this is about. And so as the story progresses, you learn more about the town and all the families there, and all sorts of connections go on. So it's really great if you're like me and you look at what you're seeing on the screen and you're looking for clues to something, or listen to people's dialogues because some things might creep up later again. All these things. So yes, I would say it's a mystery thriller that really keeps you on your toes. Particularly it keeps your brain engaged quite a lot, which is something I enjoy a lot. And that's basically what it's about. I won't really tell you more than that, because again, if I told you where the story goes, it just sounds a bit insane really. But believe me, it's absolutely worth it. It's really worth it watching it. And throughout, I feel that up to the very end, the quality, it stays high, and I checked and it seems that all the reviews it got over its entire duration have always been high. Actually, they even, I think, got a bit higher towards the end even, because it starts very slow and then it just takes off and it turns into this other thing. So it's a bit of a slow burner really, and that's pretty much all I'll tell you about the story. The reason it's overall good is there's so many aspects in this TV show that are just done so well. The people who made it have just put so much work into it. They've really crafted it into something special and unique. One thing that I particularly found interesting is 2 people made the whole story. They came up with it, they created it. And one of them is actually the director throughout the whole series. And you can tell because the feeling of it is the same throughout, and that's one of the great things. That's why it also feels completely like one story, because it all looks the same. The camera shots are the same, and it just it's so great. You really feel like a part of this town. It's supposed to be a small town. I'm not quite sure if they state at some point how big it's actually supposed to be, but it's not a big town. And you feel part of it just because of all the stuff that we're seeing and witnessing there, and all the people we get to know. Talking about the people, you have got a lot of characters in this. So I couldn't even tell you off the top of my head how many characters there are, and quite a lot of them feel like main characters. But that's not a big issue. You're introduced to them gradually, so it's not like you're just hit in the face like we've now got 40 people and good luck trying to remember who they all are. That's not the case. You're slowly introduced to them, you see who's friends with who or who's related, because obviously being a small town you've got all sorts of relatives everywhere. So as mentioned, you've got a large group of people. It's mainly about teenagers and adults that are involved in this, all interacting with each other. You've got the main areas. You've got the school is very important, so obviously you've got a lot of school related issues, groups of friends there with, I will call them partially typical teenager things. Like I said, this is about a kid missing, so obviously the whole family relationship is a big thing. How do they cope with this, and how do they approach the whole thing? And obviously, like I say, it's a small town, so everyone knows each other, and so that's the whole dynamic of this story. The actors are magnificent. You've got so many good actors in here. I don't watch many German things, so they were all actually very new to me, but I am happy to say that throughout they do an excellent job, all of them really. So all these wonderful people inhabit this small town, which looks great. It feels absolutely like a small German town. So the feeling, the setting, it's great. The colours, it all goes together so well. Apart from one yellow raincoat that you keep seeing, that's the only thing that really stands out in most scenes. One of the main characters, he's got a yellow coat, and you just see it every time. He's immediately spotted. But I suppose that's the idea, because he wants to be spotted easily during the rain. As I already mentioned, the camera work is excellent, and one thing in particular, and this also sort of goes into the music as well, the intro to the series is brilliant. There's hardly a show where I really enjoy seeing the intro so much that I will just watch it with every episode. Especially Netflix, they always like to have a wee box that allows you to skip the intro if you want to. But here I never felt the need to do so, and I'll be showing it here in the background while I'm talking, so I hope you can appreciate it. But I'll also see if I can find a link on YouTube or elsewhere that shows the full intro with the music, because I want you to hear the music as well. But just the images alone are brilliant. You've got all these mirror images, and they're sort of cut off, and some of the times you're trying to figure out what it is you're actually seeing, and it goes so well, because again, as I said, it's a sort of mystery thriller, so that just sort of adds to the whole thing. Together with the music's great. I highly recommend this one track. Very ethereal, especially the female voice singing, and it goes so well with the whole thing. So throughout the series, the intro actually changes a few times. If I remember correctly, I think throughout the first one it stays the same, but in the second and particularly the third it changes a lot. And they're all great, but I must admit my favourite is still the first one, and it's not just because of how often you see it. There's the very last shot of it where you've got this dark thing that you can't quite make out what it is at the start, and then you've got these red lights until you realise at some point it's actually just a street with some trees alongside the road, and it's flipped a bit so that you can't see, and it's just the traffic lights. But it's such a beautiful image when you look at that. It's amazing. So the intro, like I say, is magnificent. There are very, very few that could rival it. And as also already mentioned, the music's great, but the music is great throughout the whole series. Again, as I said, it's a bit of a mystery thriller, and the music definitely supports this. So you've got some eerie, creepy music going on sometimes. It's very powerful though. So again, because it's done throughout the whole series in the same way, gives it the feeling of being one continuous big story, which is great. One thing I would definitely recommend to you, because it is a mystery thriller with all sorts of little secrets and small things going on that you might miss, definitely pay attention to it. When I first watched it, we watched it just after the second series came out, so we watched series 1 and 2. While we were watching series 2, I was painting figures, so I was only listening a lot to it. And then we rewatched it now when the third one came out. We rewatched from 1 to 3, and just watching a lot more of series 2 just gave me so much more about the story. I realised that I missed quite a lot by just not looking at the screen. So definitely, this is not the kind of series that you just have on in the background, casually watching it while you're doing something else. This you really need to focus on if you want to get all the connections that are going on in the story. Those are my thoughts on the series. It's a bit more compact, more concise, but again, I really don't want to spoil this for anyone. I wanted to just tell you what I feel is very, very good about the series, in hopes that you will watch it if you have a Netflix subscription. If not, you really should consider even just getting the free monthly trial or something just to watch this series. Again, it's one of the best I have ever seen. It has quickly become one of my favourite TV shows of all time. I'm not quite sure if I would say the favourite one, that's a very difficult thing to decide, but easily amongst the best, easily. Because overall the quality is so high in this. That is how I will conclude this video. Have you seen the series? If you have, let me know down in the comments how you liked it, but please, I do ask you not to share any spoilers. Please don't do that. And tell me if you want me to talk more about TV shows in general. I would probably only do it if, like here, I watched them in one, well, not one sitting, that's a bit much, but if I watched them over a short period of time so that I get a good feeling for the whole thing. But still, TV shows are something I like to watch a lot as well, although it's a bit difficult to find the time for them, so films are a bit easier to consume in that way. If you have any suggestions for series you feel I need to watch, please share them down below as well. Other than that, I'll thank you if you like and share the video around. If you like this and want more, please also subscribe to the channel, and I will look forward to seeing you in the next video. Take care. Bye.